really get into it with my first guest today. He's a World Series champion, former Phillies relief pitcher, the 2008 Phillies. Let's welcome into the locker room, Scott Eyre. What's up, Scott?
Not much, man. How y'all doing?
All right, we're Scott. This is a cool time of year. I want your perspective on how pumped are you? Like, what are some of the things that resonate you when I say the very first day of spring training?
Oh, the next day soreness, shin splints. No, you know what? Pure excitement. Like it's, the season ends for some in October, for some in September. Well, for those of us, possibly in November once in a while. It's the greatest day of the year. Besides, I have to say that for baseball, but besides anniversaries and birthdays and all that stuff. But it is truly like for a kid from Salt Lake City, Magna, Utah, it is a dream come true to be able to. I got to do a lot of opening days or opening spring training days, and they were all as exciting as the one before, man.
Scott, you know what I remember when I think of baseball in the very beginning, you'd hear the cleats walking across the asphalt to get to the grass, hear the clickety-clack of the cleats and the fresh cut grass, but you also hear the leather popping. That's pretty cool too.
Oh, and as soon as you said the cleats walking on the concrete, I closed my eyes and I could literally hear it in my mind. I do love that sound. The smell of the leather was more fun for me than like that brand new glove Rawlings gave me every year. Thank you to them, by the way. Like you'd stick your nose in that and just inhale it like it was a glass of great wine or something. And it was there. Yeah. I truly don't believe there's a better smell. Like I did it to one of the kids. I'm coaching at a high school here. I moved from Florida to North Carolina and couldn't be happier. It's 45 degrees right now. I'm outside in a sweatshirt and my Phillies 08 sweatshirt, which is kind of ironic. I didn't even plan that. I really didn't actually. I just went down like, oh, that's kind of funny. I grabbed one of the kids' gloves the other day. He had a brand new second base glove, and I go, let me see that for a second. He goes, what? And I grabbed and I like, oh, doesn't that smell amazing? And he looked at me like, yeah, it does. Okay, did you just do that to my glove?
Hey, Scott.
Oh yeah.
You how much velocity you got left in that arm?
The other day, actually, about, last Wednesday, not this Wednesday, a week and a half ago, I think I hit 74. It was a second ball of the day I threw off the mound. I didn't even play catch. So
what was your pitch speed when you were with the Phillies in 08?
I was pretty much at like a 80, 88, 89. On occasion, I'd get up to 93, maybe 94, but that was a very rare occasion. Mostly 90, 91, 88 to 91, I'd say. I didn't throw hard. I had a pretty good slider, I would say.
So, talk to us a little bit about. I want to hear your thoughts on spring training. They always make what time do you get to the ballpark? They always make the great ones are always there early. The first one's in and the last to leave. What time? Walk us through a typical spring training game that the Phillies are going through, right? Or not game, but spring training. Walk us through like the day-to-day in the beginning.
I mean, every organization was different. In Philly, a lot of the guys, nobody beat Chase to the field. Let's just be real. Utley was there every day. I think or besides Halladay. Halladay got there at like 4:30 in the morning some days.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, he did that, and I don't know if he wasn't like that in Toronto. He'd get there about 5:30, 6 o'clock. But, he was a little different animal at the end. And most of the days I got there around 7, somewhere around there. In Philly, we had a great guy. I cannot for the life of me think of his name right now. They had a guy in there making breakfast. They had the waffle machine. You get there and make some breakfast before the day, get some food in you. But most guys were there most veteran guys, which you would think would be opposite. A lot of the veteran guys were there early, 7 o'clock, 7:15, 7:30, get some kind of workout in before so that after the day was over, we didn't have to go in the workout room, in the weight room and lift and stuff. I enjoyed getting my bike time or my elliptical training or whatever, cardio stuff and, your shoulder exercises. I enjoyed doing that, honestly, before the day started, mainly because when I was in Philly, I was 36, 37. I was getting a little older, and it was harder to get loose in the mornings. So you go in there and do all that stuff and then be better, Have to run with the young pups covering first base 500 times a day.
We're talking with Scott Eyre, former Phillies pitcher, World Series champion with the 2018. Scott, when you have guys like that showing up early, does that set a precedent for everybody else in the ball club?
It does. For me especially. I was an impressionable young kid, and my first spring training with Chicago White Sox in '97, my first big league camp, I was seated in my locker right next to Harold Baines.
Okay? Oh, jeez.
Harold was at the end of his career, so he was older. Like I said, he was older. He was there at like 6:30. I got there early one day, and he came walking in after me. He looked at me. He goes, "Oh, I like it." And I didn't know what he meant. I didn't know what he meant at first, and I was like, what'd I do wrong? And later on, I actually got the nerve to ask him. I go, "What did you mean?" He goes, "You're here early, and you look like you're ready to go for the day." And I go, "Oh, I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. It was my first day of big league camp, and so I got there super early. But then he told me after that, he goes, "Yeah, don't beat me here tomorrow. You make me look bad." So I went a little bit later.
I'm sure there's a lot of people on the other side of a lot of players on the other side of the equation that probably stroll in at the last minute. They'd been out the night before, enjoying the the surroundings of the Clearwater area. You know what I mean? Did that happen a lot too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's you know what, and I can truthfully say, yeah, there's some guys that showed up late. A lot of sometimes it wasn't because they were out late. It was because they did their workouts later. They just got there late. I don't know if Jimmy ever got there super early. Jimmy liked to sleep, but man, did he produce when it came to it? So it didn't really matter.
Right. Well, hey, look, I remember. My buddy got traded to from the Flyers to the Penguins. I remember going up there, driving his car up there, and being around the Penguins practice. I don't think I ever saw Mario Lemieux skate once.
Well, he obviously didn't need to.
He didn't need to.
Saving his leg. As long as you know your body and you know what you need to do to get yourself ready to be a team, then, man, that's all that it takes. And that was what truly made the team when I got there in '08 special. Everybody knew what they needed to do. Everybody did what they needed to do, and they just did it. It was pretty special, pretty awesome. And by the way, every time someone says my name and they say 2008 Philly World Series, I get chills. It's awesome. Thank you.
Well, say it a couple more times. I get chills too. Hey, Scott, man. I got a chance to talk to you during the week in preparation to have you on. And one of the topics that up for discussion, I was curious. Carson Wentz just got traded to the Indianapolis Colts, and he'd asked for his jersey. Now, I know this goes on a lot, but I spoke to you. I want you to tell our listeners what you told me. But Carson Wentz goes, he has a horrible season with the Eagles. He gets traded to the Indianapolis Colts, and he asked for his number to a guy, the second round pick, had 503 yards and 1 touchdown, and he asked him for his number. The guy said no. I spoke with former Flyer and Stanley Cup champion coach Craig Berube. He said it happens all the time. But tell us about tell our listeners what you told me and what happened to you when you were the Giants.
Well, I'd spent like the end of '02 in the World Series with the Giants, and then '03 and then '04. I thought I was kind of established. I only had like 3.5 years of service time, and we had signed, and I was number 49. And then we went on in '05 that winter and signed Armando Benitez. Big signing, big contract, big bucks.
Right.
He's a 6 or 7 year player at the time, and I got a phone call from, like I told you, I couldn't remember if it was from Danny Evans or oh God, what's the GM's name? I just had it. Anyway, Brian Sabian, and I can't remember who did it. He said, hey, but we just signed Armando Benitez and he wears number 49. And I was like, and me personally, it's different than, this young kid for the Colts saying no, but I was like, okay, I didn't really care. And he didn't. A lot of times you hear the stories though. He just basically took my number, and I said, well, can I wear 47? So I was okay with that. I didn't personally care, but I was also under the impression that a lot of times these guys take your number and they give you some money for it or they do something. Right. As a matter of fact, I forgot to tell you the rest of my story. So when I signed with the Cubs, John Mabry was a Cub at the time, and he was wearing number 47. So me asking for 47, and I don't know if they really just told Mabry. I don't even know what they told him, but I bought him a shotgun. So because he's a hunter, so I bought him a pretty sweet shotgun. Had it mailed to his house and everything, and And I let him pick out the colors. He got a camo. I was like, "Do you want camo or you want black or brown or what kind?" He's like, "I'll take camo." So, for him giving up his number to me, which I thought was really cool because he was a 10-year player at the time, and I was just 5 or 6. I was a free agent, so he had way more time than me and more established. And I thought it was cool that he didn't care that I took his number. Or he gave it to me, but I bought him a nice shotgun in replacement. But Armando didn't buy me anything. He barely even spoke to me. So
Scott? Were you pissed off? Were you upset?
No.
Or I mean, that's your number. It's not like you were just a 1 year or rookie or second year guy. You were established with the Giants for 3 years.
I didn't care personally because to me it was a number on your back. I was still in the big leagues, and I still got to pitch again, face Sean Green and Todd Helton and Adam Dunn and all those bigwigs. I still got to face childhood idols. Not those guys were my age, but I got to face some guys that were childhood heroes or watch them play, and I got to play for Dusty Baker. I was still in the big leagues, so personally, no, I didn't care. I know there's a lot of guys that they're attached to certain numbers. It sounds like this kid in Indianapolis is attached to number 11 and didn't want to give it to Carson. Maybe he's pissed off that they signed Carson. He thought he should, keep the number, but I don't.
Here's the thing, Scott. He's a wide receiver. If there's anybody you want to make happy, it's your quarterback. I
didn't even know that. I thought he was a quarterback.
No.
He's
a wide receiver.
Number 11?
Yeah, he's a number. It's Michael Pittman Jr. He's number 11.
Okay.
And the thing is, you don't want to. So basically, my question is, what's that do for chemistry when you have a guy? When you were told, like you didn't care when you had your number taken, but I'm sure there are people that are like, why?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of people that are pissed. There's a lot of people, they got their bling jewelry and they don't want to buy new stuff that has an 11 on it, I guess. But I didn't know receivers were that low a number normally. They're usually a little higher, aren't they?
Yeah.
An 11?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I assume the first, I don't know how football works, but I assume the lower numbers like that. It's kind of funny we're talking about 11 because 11 was my favorite number because it was Manny Mota's number when I was a kid, and that was my mom and dad, like my parents' favorite player to watch, and my dad wore 11 playing softball, so I always wanted to wear 11. And so my theory behind it was when I took 47, I was like, okay, I'm going to be silly here. 4 plus 7 is 11, so I'm good.
Hey, Scott, listen.
When I was a Blue Jay, I got to wear 29. So that was, yeah.
Scott, listen, we're having a lot of fun here. Would you mind? Can we hold you over so we can take a break and come back? Would you mind? Or
yeah, go
do you
ahead.
have to go?
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, no worries.
Beautiful. So hang on, because I do have a few other questions I want to ask you. Get your take on. So let's just hang on. Let me do a little business here, and then we'll bring you back up. All right. The second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf; it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining experience, lively atmosphere in the pub. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Somers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Phillies baseball. The Phillies had their first game against the Detroit Tigers today. If you're a pitcher, what are you looking for? What do you want to accomplish on the very first day?
Survival. Survival in all sense of the word. Like you want your arm to hurt, you want your body to hurt, you want to get out there unscathed, maybe give up a hit, maybe who cares? Throw strikes. My first outing usually in spring training was as a reliever, mostly mostly fastballs. I was mainly a slider guy coming out of the pen. Not quite as many as Lidge, but mostly sliders. And the slider, unless you're in full game shape, arm ready, is one of the last, breaking balls are the last pitches that come around just because of the arm speed. And, I use spring training a lot to get ready for the season. I know a lot of guys come into spring training, especially some of your Latin players that come in from playing in winter ball, they're game ready, season ready to go day one. And I was never really that way. I kind of use spring training to get ready for the season, arm-wise. And so my first outing was usually fastballs, try to hit your spots in and out. And, let's face it, I only had to do it for an inning most of the time. And, most starters are going out there for 2 or 3 innings their first outing. And mine was just an inning. And I do remember a couple of games where I went out and I believe there's one inning I had in Chicago, one of my first spring training games, was like 5 pitches long. So I had to go to the bullpen and throw another 20 just to get my work in. Well, that's a good thing.
So Scott, so obviously a starting pitcher has a different routine to get himself ready than a reliever. What are relievers? So what's the difference? Like, what's the difference in the workout schedule for relievers and starting pitchers?
Like lifting, you mean the workout schedule?
Well,
Or
like I guess
like
from everything, like how
well,
much how often do they throw on the side? Like relievers, like you said, you might only spend 1 inning or 2 innings
yeah.
in the game. Obviously, start.
That all depends on, some relievers are different. Someone like a Durbin or a Condrey, who are like your longer reliever innings, they would throw 2 or 3 innings, 2 innings their first outing, and then maybe a bullpen 2 days later, and then 2 days after that in another game. I went, once games started, I usually pitched like my first game. Say it was the first game of spring. Like say I was pitching today. Today's Sunday, so I would probably pitch again on Tuesday, and then 2 days off, and then pitch again, then 2 days off, then pitch again. And then toward the end of spring, you start to go every other day to get used to, the up and down of pitching. And then toward the end of spring training, I always like to throw back-to-back days. And there was one year actually in San Francisco where I ended up I threw 3 days in a row, because one of those games I only threw like 7 pitches in an inning, and the game was over. And I didn't want to go to the bullpen, so I thought, well, can I just pitch tomorrow again? So I actually went down and pitched in the B type game. I actually went and threw 25 pitches in a minor league game the next day. It was my third day in a row, and then we left the next day for spring training, or we left for San Francisco. So very rarely do I think in spring training they throw 3 in a row. I did it 1 year, but most guys, everybody, like I said, everyone's different, but starting pitchers, they try to get on their 5-day routine early. I think a lot of them go 4 days the first start. They'll throw their first start on, like, whoever their starter might be today. He may throw again on Wednesday, being his 4th day, instead of waiting 5 days till Thursday. I'm not sure with how they do it now. It's, everything's changing. The game's changing quickly. So, things are a little different. I'm assuming guys still, I'd like to throw more. The more I threw, obviously the better feel you get. And let's face it, if you feel like crap, you can work on stuff and the more you get out there and get things going, if you're flying open and can't figure out how to get can't get the ball down and away to a lefty, I got to get out there a few more times so I can, not give up someone's runs when I come in the game during the season.
We're talking with Scott Eyre, former Phillies relief pitcher and World Series champion. Can't say that enough. But yesterday we had Mark Messier on the program, and he's a spokesman for the NXT water, the queso water. You got to check it out. If you want to check out, it's at quesowater.com, AKESO water.com. It's a hemp-based product, and he's marketing it for me. You might want to check that out. Okay. Scott, if you want to join the conversation, you can send a message via Twitter or Facebook for Scott Eyre. Got a few minutes left. Scott, another thing that we're experiencing here in Philadelphia, the hot topic, is meddling owners. Tell us about your experiences with owners. Did you have owners that were really micromanagers, and then owners that were hardly ever saw? What was your experience with the owners?
I'm not sure if I ever saw the ownership group for the Cubs in the locker room or anything like that. When I was in San Francisco, it was Peter McGowan and oh God, I can't think of his name. Peter was around here and there, but he was not. I wouldn't call him meddling. When I was in Philly, I wouldn't call any of them meddling. I would call them genuinely, absolutely kind, polite, and courteous, and awesome.
Well, I guess when I say meddling, like get into the baseball part of it, like maybe, like biting off more than they can chew, I guess, or maybe sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. But let's face it, it's their club. They can do whatever they want.
Their team, yeah. They can. But I didn't really come across. I didn't come across any Jerry Joneses in my time.
Right.
And no disrespect to Mr. Jones.
Right.
But but I didn't have anybody. Not that I ever noticed. But I was not a guy that ownership came to me and talked to me things about.
Right.
That would be a more question like a Ryan Howard or a Jay Roll or things like that. Some of those guys probably got to deal with ownership more than I did. But I never noticed anyone that was, I would say, out of line or quite, like you said, meddling, more trying to just do their job and get, put a winning product on the field. I don't believe it's I
Well,
don't know.
that leads me to my next question, the perfect segue. When you have a new president of baseball operations come in, or you see your general manager doing everything he can to put the best team on the field as by spending money, what's that do for the team's psyche and putting, what's that do for players' confidence when you see that the front office is committed to winning?
I mean, if the front office is committed to winning, doesn't it make your job easier? It makes your job more enjoyable to come to work knowing that, if you're in it in the final few months of the season, that they're not going to be trading away your best players saying, we're out of it, so we're not going to. If we're still possibility of being in it, who knows how many games out nowadays with the extra playoffs. But if you're still semi in it and you got teams and your team's out there going to try and they're picking up a Joe Blanton or a Scott Eyre or someone like that, then then you gotta. That's gonna make you happy. It's got to make you work harder.
Right.
You got to do in it at the end of the season, and they're going to go pick somebody up to help you win it. They're going to go get a Pedro Martinez at the end of the season and say, "Hey, big man, go win some games and get us to the postseason."
Yeah.
And that I don't know if any player could say anything otherwise. I don't even know how you could. Like if you're like I can't reiterate. If you're in it and they're going out to get players, then it just shows they want to win as well.
Well, I got to tell you, this year the Philadelphia Phillies and Dave Dombrowski came in, and he's retained, offered. We got JT Realmuto back, and DJ Gregorius. So 1 through 8, this team looks good. But we're in the NL East, and you got some beasts in the East, baby. You got the Braves and the Mets with all they're doing. I mean, the Phillies. I think Hunter said that the over and under for wins this year is like 81 or 82.
Yeah. Don't tell the players that. They might get pissed and win 95.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, you can. I mean, that's the thing. If they're closing in on 80 wins, and like I said, Mr. Dombrowski is going to go out and get some players to solidify to get to that 90 wins possibly or whatever it may be. But all they got to do as players, in my opinion, is get to that closing in. Stay close. Stay close to the Braves. Stay close to the Mets, and and obviously every year every team has to do it. Stay healthy.
Yeah.
But signing JT back that was huge, and DD obviously. So I mean, you're making fans happy there. So you're going to have, hopefully, with this stupid COVID, you're going to have fans back in the stadiums. Maybe not full capacity, and even if you're just letting some in, those, especially the Philly fan, then they get loud and they get. I love it. I'm getting chills again.
Nothing like playing in front of the Philly faithful, right, Scott?
If you're a Philly, yes. If you're a visitor, no.
Hey, listen, Scott. I really enjoyed the conversation with you today. You're a great friend of the show. I really appreciate it, and
no problem.
Continued success with your future in coaching, and maybe who knows, maybe you can achieve have aspirations of getting to the bigs again.
Maybe. No, I don't know if I ever want to do. I'm enjoying coaching high school ball here. I'm at a new high school, Landrum High School, about 20 minutes from my new house, and I have to actually say, go Cardinals. Not St. Louis, but go Cardinals. Right. And, man, we got a kid on our team that could possibly be in the big league someday. He's just a junior this year, but we'll see how it pans out. But I'm having fun, man.
All right, Scott. So that's the name of the game. Have fun. Scott, thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll do it again, all right?